Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 3, Episode 15, Coda. This episode was not a favorite of mine. Like, I really actually loved the first half. I thought it was great. And then by the time we got to the second half, I was like, what's happening? Like, what are you guys doing? So I'm a big fan of the movie Groundhog's Day. So, like, going even back to, like, The Next Generation, the cause and effect episode, I loved. Like, not just because Kelsey Grammer's in it, it's just a great episode because you just kind of see things repeating over and over again. And that's how this one was. Which, I'm going to stop there for just a second, where the first part of this episode, like the opening lines, are super uncomfortable, at least to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of have like a little bit of a dirty mind. I mean, depending on who you ask, like, it is. I tell dirty jokes, it's pretty bad. But, like, listening to Neelix and Janeway, where, like, you were a lot of fun last night. We should do this once a month. You were especially good. Like, it was awkward. I was like, did they just have, like, a massive Voyager orgy? Like, what's going on? Like, I had no idea what they were talking about. And they were like, oh, it was talent night. I was like, oh, that was not what I thought you were going for. So, I don't know. That kind of threw me off. Did you guys get that? Or am I just way off the deep end in, like, perverted land or something? Go ahead, let me know about that. So, anyways, where this episode starts to get really good, at least to me, was, there's my dog, Lowbelly. Hello, Belly. Is Janeway and Chakotay being on an away mission, which, right there, I was like, why? We've already established, like, going back to Kirk and Spock, okay, fine, do whatever. When we got to the Next Generation, the captain and the commander should not be on an away mission together. You guys know this. What's going on? And why do they not go on an away mission together? Because they crash and they die. Which, I mean, that's an extreme reaction, but in this case, they crashed. And it's like, what do we do? Like, this is why this should not happen. You would think they would, like, the Next Generation did such a good job. And it even goes to the movie Nemesis, where Picard even says, like, my new commander, Data, would never let me go on an away mission. Well, like, rule, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is an established canon. Like, you guys should not be together. So that really bothered me. Because it's not even the first time. We've seen those two together on away missions a few times at this point. So that bothered me. And this is where it starts to get into, like, Groundhog's Day, where they're in the shuttle, they crash, there's Vidian phase marks, even though we moved beyond their space, which is a great line because it's basically another way of saying, like, we're done with those people. And then suddenly they get attacked by the Vidians, which is the first time we've seen the Vidians since we left them. And then they're back in the shuttle, and they're doing the same thing again, but they change course. Well, now it happens again, but there's two Vidian ships this time, and they're in this cycle, and at this point, I am in love with this episode. I was like, this is the best episode so far. I could watch this all day. And then suddenly when they get back to Voyager, now Chakotay doesn't remember what's going on. And I was like, this is getting even better. Like, what's happening? And then you get to that third act, and it's like they didn't know how to end it. They're like, okay, well, how do we explain this? And they're like, you know what? Non-corporeal alien. We'll go back to the original series. Oh, how do we end it? Non-corporeal alien. And it just makes sense. And it bugged me so much, and I didn't like it. Where there's a couple more scenes, whereas now, like, the loop has gotten longer. Like, there's a great scene with, like, Janeway has the phage, and the doctor has to euthanize her. Like, it's a really interesting thing, but it's really drawn out, and then when it flips, you're just like, oh, again? And then she starts seeing her dad, who, like, died 15 years ago, which would have been before the Next Generation had even started. But yet he's in kind of a modern day outfit. And then sure enough, Janeway's like, you're not my dad. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm a non-corporeal alien that's here to feed on you. Like, bring your spirit. And Janeway has a moment of awakening where we see Chakotay and Tuvok and the Doctor over her, trying to revive her. And it turns out that she was just infected with something. She resists, it goes away without her, all pissed off, and she wakes up just fine. I was like seriously, that's the best you could come up with on why time is repeating itself. I would have been just happy if it was, once again, another nebula that was just, that's what it did. It was just this nebula. The non-corporeal alien thing just took me right out of the story. So for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? Like, did you like it? Did you dislike it? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for subscribing, and I will see you guys next time for The Blood Fever.